Hello there, commanders, and welcome to Wargames Institute Tournament number 2. Before we jump into the first battle of the tournament, let me tell you what this tournament is about. It is a 10v10 tournament fought on tier 6 between 8 teams in a single elimination bracket with a third place match. The first edition was open only to the Chinese teams, but for the second edition Western teams were also invited. You're probably thinking, wait a second, I heard that somewhere before. And you're right, since SUNTZU participated in this tournament, I already featured the battles we took part in back in the day, but I didn't feature any other matches, which is what I'm going to do now. You also may be confused by me saying it's the first battle of the tournament, and yet this is quarterfinal number 2 and not number 1. Well, quarterfinal number 1 was SUNTZU versus North America's All-Stars, but the NA All-Star team have never shown up. That's why this battle is chronologically first. With the cast of all the remaining battles of this tournament, so all the battles that SUNTZU was not part of, I want to conduct a little bit of an experiment. When I was casting SUNTZU battles, I noticed that action was going pretty much all the time across the entire battlefield, and with play-by-play casting taking priority over color casting, there was little space left for any kind of analysis. So what I want to do here is reverse and give the priority to color casting, or maybe even drop the play-by-play altogether, and make it a much more relaxing experience compared to other tournament battles I cast. Now, with that explained, let's jump into the battle. Because I'm completely unprepared to do that.
Fight for control of the battlefield.
Hello there, commanders who have skipped the intro. Please don't do that, because otherwise you will not necessarily know what is going to happen. Other than that, let's turn off the fog of war and let's analyze what both teams are up to. I can see already a fight for the watchtower, which is going to give a huge advantage to whichever team captures it. And the French team will, yeah, obviously, let's introduce the teams, right? The blue team is the Chinese Wargames Institute team, and the red team is Societas Draconistrarum, a French team. And Blinton is there because otherwise I think they wouldn't be able to fill that 10-man roster. So he's some kind of a mercenary so that a tournament can even happen, or well, just Draconistrarum can even participate. So the charge was won by the French team, Societas Draconistrarum, but Wargames Institute has actually managed to win the actual fight, and now they control the watchtower through the presence of their cavalry and an elephant. So now they have the advantage over this area. They have an elephant pushing forward, stopping the infantry from coming through, and making sure that an infantry unit can hold control of the watchtower. The Chinese cavalry has lost a little bit of momentum, but let's switch and look at other parts of the map. The French teams are pushing through the tall grass and the mini forest below the watchtower as well, trying to extend the front line and using their numbers advantage to their advantage. Also have two units of Foxmen sneaking through, but kind of sleeping in here. There we go, now they have woken up. So this is also have committed 2 players, 5 units to control of C. Pikes are here. Very good unit to control a point early on. And the Chinese team, Wargames Institute, is pushing with their own pike phalanx over here onto A. Pikes in the city are in general much stronger than in the open areas because it's much harder to flank them, and the forward control they provide is extremely valuable, as you can see here. So C is going to go to the French team. Here the fight is roughly equal, but the fight in the city is going quite heavily in the favor of the Chinese team. And I guess I still have the national cap mode on me, engraved in me essentially. Engraved? Yeah. I guess I kind of messed up the accent, but whatever. But yeah. Wargames Institute, not the Chinese team, but they are Chinese team, is going to take control of A, most likely. They have sent cavalry to deny the healing from Societas Draconistrarum, and they're also sending their pikes. Albeit they are in pike phalanx, so they're not going to get there fast unless that's lifted. But they should be able to take control of A and deny the healing zone. C is going to be taken. Elephant is trying to get through, but is barely late. But even then, he should be able to be taken down quite quickly if the French Scissors Reconnaissance pikes were to play it well. Speaking of playing it well, I think that's not necessarily the wide formation is very effective against elephants, but in case there were any infantry coming in, then the wide formation is definitely preferable. So maybe not entirely optimized there, especially since they do hold the watchtower, so they should be able to see that there is no infantry coming in. But well, they kept control of C. Now they're healing back here, they're sending people back from the hill as they have failed the attack, and A is now being taken by War Games Institute. So even though they gave up control over C, they did manage to win on the flank, and they also managed to hold the point E, which they were at a disadvantage on. Or maybe, well, it was still more or less equal given how many forces the French have committed. And they have also committed quite a substantial force over here on A, but that was simply not a match to the pikemen. And well, they didn't have their own pikemen there to counter that, or any other unit that could counter pikes, such as javelinmen, which are completely not present in their team, or dogs, who have been sent to the top of the hill, I believe. Though I don't really see them. They're here now. Maybe they were here, but if they were, they kind of failed to counter the pikes. So I guess my point stands. Although I didn't really see it where the dogs were, so maybe they were there. I have never seen this battle before, so it is the first time I'm going into it. So yeah, it's a live analysis. So now, Scissors Reconnaissance, after healing up most of their units, they will be looking to launch a counterattack, because obviously as it stands right now, with War Games Institute winning 2 flanks out of the 3, or the flanks, and losing the center, they are at an advantage. They hold 3 points to only the 2 points being controlled by Scissors Reconnaissance. So obviously Scissors Reconnaissance must find a way back into the battle, because if the status quo is upheld, they are not going to win. Looks like they are trying to launch another quite powerful attack onto E, while holding C with their pikemen, supported now by dogs as well, and still supported by the Roman legionaries. They also have some spears coming in. Those are Leonidas spears, very powerful on holding onto a point. And what is the Chinese team up to, the War Games Institute? They're going to hold quite confidently control of the city. The French team, as a concern, isn't really pushing them there, but they do hold 1 elephant and 1 pike unit on top of it to make sure no sneaky maneuvers are going on. Stakes being placed over here, which is a rule violation. Did I mention that at the beginning? No, I haven't. So there are rules about stakes, there are rules about commander selection and unit selection. And stake selection is, stakes rules is essentially you cannot bring stakes on melee units. You can only bring stakes and caltrops, I think, on ranged units. And well, here are at least 2 players having brought and deployed stakes on melee units. So yeah, that's War Games Institute breaking the rules of their own tournament. Yeah, doesn't look really good. But well, given that this has happened in the past, I actually know what the verdict was. Oh. Okay. You didn't see that on the recording, but there was just a pop-up that the replay has desynced at tick something. But well, if you're still watching this, I mean, if I have published this video, that means everything is fine. So I'll just continue as if nothing has happened. So the verdict was that, well, that was a minor rule violation and didn't influence the outcome of the battle or whatever, and you know, the battle stands and will not be repeated or something. I don't know what kind of the appeal process was there, and how the French teams is concerned appealed to that, but well, there was in a bracket minor rule violations. At least they have acknowledged that, well, the rules were broken. And now, so this is a concern have quite an advantage here on top of the hill. They do have 2 units that's Salonida. Salonida spears are quite effective at taking down elephants because of the shield bash melee weapon damage bonus. It lasts 8 seconds, so it's not that short. And well, with plus 64 melee weapon damage and plus 25% from them being spears, that's quite a lot of bonus damage that is able to take down elephants quite fast. Well, here's a meme, if you know how. And well, this elephant is suffering quite a lot of damage, but I don't really see shield bashes being used. Prescription is also on, which lowers the melee attack a little bit. I don't know if that really has an influence over an elephant. A little bit, I assume, from what I have seen and have been told. But this is a concern. I need to clear out the infantry. They need to deny the healing zone. We do have one dead player on the Chinese side that could respawn over here, but if he does, well, cavalry is ready and waiting for him. Except now it is recalling back to the base. Will it go through? It does go through. Okay. That's quite a piece of... Why? Why would you ever do that? Well, I don't know. I can ask Blinton. Blinton can maybe explain himself in the comments. But B is under no threat. C is also fine. You're not going to try to sneak up A, I hope. Which is, well, quite questionable. The archers have respawned back in the city though, so they're not there to reinforce the hill, but they do have another dead sword player who could respawn 3 units fresh over here. And, well, looks like the city as a concern have kind of run out of momentum. They definitely should keep contesting the E point, because if you contest a point, the enemy team is not getting points from that capture point. Given that you're already 500 points behind, you really want to slow down the enemy's point gain as much as possible. You want to keep them away from C so that they cannot contest it. Now they have archers over here. Okay, cavalry is coming in. They haven't known that the archers are here. Maybe they have anticipated it, and if they did, well, good for them, because they just scored a beautiful, beautiful charge, very nicely done there by Blinton, and that will keep the Chinese forces away from the C point. Although those stakes, see how much influence they have. They can't really push the Chinese team further away because the stakes are in the way. Now the cavalry have provided a little bit of a breathing room for them, so they now have an opportunity to destroy the stakes or walk straight through them and suffer the damage. Well, the damage wasn't really that high. This is break ranks multi-added, so maybe that is something that contributes to less damage being taken, and now the Roman infantry will take out the stakes. The Chinese are trying to deny the healing zone, but that hint of cavalry is going to be probably quickly dealt with, especially since this isn't Scipio, but Caesar, so no oath of perseverance available. And now the French team finally regrouped and now are launching quite a powerful attack onto E. It's still not being contested, and the healing zone is not being denied. The elephants are going to be healed up there. Well, one elephant, because the other two are somewhere else on the battlefield. We see one below there, and one is probably still on top of A. No, not anymore. So probably it is being sent to contest C, at least that's what I would do. But it's not. It is going to go to B. Okay, that's pretty much essentially the same. Just use an elephant to contest a point to slow down the enemy point gain. And now B is being captured, actually not contested, as a unit of foxes comes in. So no sneaky backups over there happening. But Wargames is sending 3 more units over there. Well, the cavalry has been killed. But 3 units, although one of them is an elephant, so, and one is 9. No. Oh, I can see that's 1 soldier. Yep, that cannot apply flanks. Okay, so you cannot rout these folksmen. Plus, they have iron discipline, so not going to happen. So I would just go back with those units and heal up. I think that's the correct decision. And now Wargames is trying to go back and heal up here, but they are being pursued. That is the correct decision to pursue them. Don't let them heal. And Caesar's concern are using their numbers advantage. And that's very nice maneuver, actually. They're blocking off the Wargames units from coming back into the point, but there's one unit they cannot do it against, and that's an elephant. And that elephant still has over half HP, And there comes another elephant. And now War Games City is going to get a ton of value out of those elephants. And, well, we just seen some people heal up here. They were being pursued, but then the pursuit was dropped in favor of, I don't know, fighting an elephant. I don't know what happened here, but that was a huge mistake by the SUNTZU Strong team to not deny the healing. One of the players might have respawned up here because I think there's a little bit too many units in there. So there might be a straight up respawn, there might have been some healing going on as well. But, well, those units are being held back by spears, so it's not the end of the world. Elephant is actually coming back, trying to heal, as the other elephant holds onto the point, and that is the only unit that's still holding a point. But, well, elephant is an elephant, and is not going to go down quickly if you don't have the perfect units to counter them. And, well, that's essentially being pikes and a little bit javelins. But javelins, again, not present on SUNTZU, and pikes are still holding on the sea. Well, given that, they're doing a pretty good job at holding C. It's still not being contested, so status quo is pretty much being upheld. B is being contested by that elephant. These Foxmen are really useless in here. But, well, they can still help capturing the point faster if those Foxmen were to be killed off by the elephant. They're going to go against it, they're going to pull up the elephant back, and now that one soldier is going to contest the point, as I actually should have just disabled this. Oh, but not, whoa. Okay. Whoops, I have messed up the controls over there, but whatever. They're not going to contest, that unit would have just died. Just recall back to the base, or I don't know, go back to the healing point. And because of failing to deny the healing zone properly, you cannot obviously deny respawns, but you can deny healing. Well, that French attack that was looking very promising has ultimately failed. And definitely a large part in that was thanks to the elephant. Or multiple elephants, actually. So yeah, thanks to the elephants. Oh, there we go, there was a recall. Thanks to the elephants, War Games Institute have held on to E. And, well, thanks to the very close vicinity of the healing zone. So, the status quo, again, still being upheld. Only 2 points, capture points captured for SUNTZU and 3 points captured for War Games Institute, as we see archers walking into a pike phalanx frontally for some reason. They're already being countered by dogs. I'll just assume that was a misclick. Can't say lags because that's a Chinese player. He has a server right next to him, so I'll drop that.
Our capture point is contested.
And, well, SUNTZU is still attacking E, trying to contest for as long as possible, but maybe the better idea would be to just retreat, heal up, and try to launch another powerful attack. Let's see if they can heal their pikes over here. The healing's still 10 seconds. Oh, there we go. That's quite unlucky. Getting tied up straight into pike phalanx. Okay, you just kill your own unit. Yes, sure. I don't know what I have just seen, but I am very confused by it. Well, there's definitely some micromanagement. The pikes are coming in. You're not going to... Oh, well, you're still in melee, technically. Yeah, that's some very entanglement memes. That actually results in those pike phalanx completely being unable to go into their own pike phalanx and being cut down by the enemy pike phalanx. That is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So now SUNTZU have decided, okay, we definitely need to do something to change what is going on. So, looks like they're going to send multiple units from C, away from C, onto point E. He's not being captured as War Games have just completely left the zone, but an elephant is incoming, so there's no problem there. And there simply are not enough. They're going places. What? They're just going to give up E altogether? I think now they have realized what's going on. Okay. Maybe it's the replay dissing kicking in. I mean, those elephants are still getting orders, but these two units should definitely be on top of E. Because there's no reason for these players not to do that unless they're very, very occupied with micromanaging their units over here. Which is maybe what's happening. So I don't know, that may be a desync going on. But well, it's quite bizarre what's happening. Yeah, I would like to, even if that's a desync, I will still publish this video, and I would like to hear from the players who have actually taken part in this battle to confirm whether or not this is actually what happened, or is this desync kicking in. But we still see other units still being ordered around and being completely fine. And the elephant is now coming back to E. Well, it still would have a reason to go back to E just to hold the point. Okay, now the order is being okay. I'll just give it to a case of very weird micromanagement. The elephant got in the very, very last. Okay, maybe not the very last second. Still got some like, good 5-10 seconds left in to capture. And if that unit was inside, that would have definitely been captured. Wow, just wow. Okay. This is being fought over. It is being contested ever so slightly by this pike unit, or no, it's actually contested by this sword unit that is about to die and be pushed out of the point. There we go. C is no longer contested. And now dogs are being sent towards A. The Chinese pikes are no longer there. So, seeing that, so this is a concern I could have realized. Okay, the pikes are not there. Now we have a chance. Even dogs would be pretty good counter to the pikes, right? They're going to catch one of the units up here and keep sending units towards A. And there's only one unit defending there. Which, well, this is a concern I don't know unless they have calculated how many units are remaining overall on the battlefield. So maybe they do know, but they are going to lose C if they don't react quickly. Now the pikemen have been routed, and C is going to be taken. E has been taken actually, even though the elephant is still alive. He must have walked out of the point for a brief few seconds. And that's where the capture must have occurred. Wow, that's quite something. C is going to be captured by Wargame Suit, unless this pike unit can get it above C. Not going to happen. C is going to be captured by by Wargame Suit, but that is going to be traded for A. So, well, since this is a concern, ideally would have held onto C while still capturing A and E, but I guess you cannot have everything, although they were definitely very, very lucky with what has occurred on top of E. Now they're spawning in here, healing up, and I think if the replay was desync, that definitely wouldn't have happened here. Okay, now they're sending the units back to C. That is definitely the point they should have the easiest time attacking. They can also try rushing through the city. There are some dogs and pikes scattered around in here, not being micromanaged. Maybe the units are alive somewhere else on the battlefield. We do have the other dog units somewhere else on the battlefield that I don't see. The two of them are here. The third one is somewhere else. And I do have suspicion that there is some kind of this thing going on, because it's quite uncharacteristic of players to just stand around like this. But well, even with 3 points captured now for Societas Draconistrarum, there is very little chance of the, there's just no mathematical chance of them getting back unless they start contesting something. C is now going to be unlocked, so C is now going to be contested. So there's only 1 point per second for a War Games instead, but on top of that, D would also need to be contested. There we go, the dogs have started moving, the pikes have started moving as well. So it's very, very confusing whether this is just player mismanagement or is the replay very, very weirdly distinct. Because usually when a replay distinct happens, all units stop moving altogether, they just stop moving, nobody moves. Here we still get, well, what you see. So yeah, it is quite weird. And well, speaking of C, it is now also going to be given away for free by Wargames Institute as they are trying to push up to E, try to back up that. It's a very weird bet, but then again, they're quite convincingly in the lead, and if they can only hold on to D, they should still win. Let's see, they have only 200 points to go. C is now going to be captured, which is going to put the Cesar Consignment team on 600 points per second. That is actually going to be very close if that is what remains until the very end. But Wargames Institute is going to contest A. That drops the point gain to only 4.5. If they can contest C or E, that is going to further drop the point gain to, I think, just 3? Should be just 3. So yeah, even as it is right now, Wargames Institute should still hold on to the victory. And there we go. Yep, Foxmer are coming in. They're not going to be stopped ahead of the point, or are they? They are going to be stopped ahead of the point. I mean, they have stopped themselves, so they really weren't stopped. They just stopped. But another unit is going to make it through as well. This Spearman Phalanx is definitely not positioned well to do that. And even this one unit is going to do that. And maybe this one is already being sent to B? I don't know. It's just going places. But E is being contested. C is probably going to be contested. Maybe not once it unlocks. But A was being captured for a brief while. But unit of dogs have managed to get in there. Now it's being routed to heal up. But there's another unit of full unit of dogs coming in. But the battle is almost over, so they don't really, they cannot really afford the luxury of going back and heal. They also have a unit of pikes in here that is grinding against the wall, trying to get through. The buff fighting is a little bit broken if you were in pike phalanx, or broken. I guess just how it was programmed. It is intended for you to be able to do stuff like that. So yeah, so pike memers can do more pike memes. CA please fix, but I guess you have intended that and you still haven't changed your mind. But as the point stands right now, if nothing else is going to be captured and E is still going to be contested, and it is now definitely going to be contested as an elephant is on top of it, we are going to look at a very, very close battle ending, but still a Wargames Institute victory. And now, if the battle have carried out like this, being as close towards the end as we see here, and again, maybe because of the desync, it wasn't exactly how it played out, and maybe it was a little bit different. But if it was that close, then I think the stakes they have placed here and here and here could have actually contributed to a little bit of the difference, and that could have been a difference between, well, Wargames Institute winning this battle and Socios Reconstruction winning this battle. But well, I wasn't the organizer, I wasn't the referee in there, and the referee have ruled in favor of Wargames Institute team, and well, the battle victory was still in the favor of Wargames Institute team over Socios Reconstruction. So that is the end of this battle, and well, technical difficulties I guess with the desync and me being confused by a lot of things, so maybe that wasn't exactly the cast we were looking for, but hopefully with the other battles, again I have never seen them before, so I'm going completely blindly into them, unlike the SUNTZU battles, which well, I obviously know how they went because I was there participating in it and leading the team. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think, and look forward to the next episode, because well, hopefully with no weird desync issues will be much better. Until then, I will see you on Arena's Battlefields, Commanders.